Hey, everybody. Happy hump day. Happy therapy day. Happy Wednesday. All of those good things. Thanks for joining me today. And if you're new here, I appreciate you coming and checking out the channel. I appreciate you coming and joining our little new community here. And I just want you to know that we have open dialogue. We encourage people to have different opinions. What we don't encourage is hateful, nasty comments. You don't need to do that here. Just we love to talk to you. So what I mean is by we, this is our channel. So if you're new, I want you, hey everybody, thanks for being here today. I see you all, the regulars and everybody. It's awesome. So before we move forward, we're going to get into some serious conversation here today, as we always do. But I really wanted to talk about this particular subject because I'm seeing just so much insanity. It's crazy. And the way the trans community talks to me is actually mind-blowing. So let's get into we do shout outs. So if you start to tell me where you're from, if you're new here, tell me where you're from, and I'm going to pull back up to the top here a little bit and see if where I missed anybody and where did I start. If you're new here, tell me where you're from. I'm going to shout you out, and then we're going to get into some good ass conversation. So first off is we got Florida in the house. Right on. We got Maine in the house. We got Minnesota in the house. We got Mississippi in the house. Canada's in the house. BC, Canada's in the house. Seattle in the house. Right on. Netherlands in the house. Europe's in the house. Maine's in the house. New York in the house. Washington, Nova Scotia, Oregon, UK, Liverpool, UK, Winnipeg, where my dad's from. New York in the house. Sweden. Floyd, Virginia's in the house. Phoenix, Illinois, Alabama, Miami's in the house. Arizona, Adelaide, where my sculpture is. You should go see it if you haven't had a chance. Kentucky's in the house. Right on. New Southwest Australia, Netherlands. God, you guys are moving fast today. Austin, if I missed you, you could say it again and I'll call you out, okay? Because I just got a big bump here. San Francisco, New Orleans, California, Kentucky, San Antonio, Northern Cal, Poland, Seattle, Birmingham, England, UK, Manchester, Southern Illinois, Australia, upstate West Virginia. Right on, West Virginia. We love you back. I love you back. We whatever. Murphy, Europe, the land of sanity, wherever that is. Please let me know so I can move there. New Jersey, Connecticut, Oregon, Birmingham, England, Rochester, New York. Right on. Romania's in the house. Baltimore's in the house. Upstate New York, Chicago, Brazil, Tasmania. That always blows my mind. Altadena's in the house. Right on, Altadena. I hope things are going okay over there. Western North Carolina, Russia. Russians from Miami are in the house. Right on. Dallas, Texas is in the house. We got Alaska in the house. We got North Crakalaki. I don't even know where that is, but okay. Portland, Oregon. Unfortunately, you said it. Norway's in the house. We got the bowels of Oregon. Wow, Oregon really went off the deep end. Florida's in the house. Wisconsin's in the house. Right on. I've actually been to Wisconsin. Pretty interesting to me. And we have some Russians in the house. Okay, I think that's Russian. It looks like it is. The Caribbean's in the house and Germany's in the house. Love you guys so much. Thank you all. Just want you all to know that I value you. You know that. Building this amazing community. I also, people who are new here, you are going to see that we have a worldwide audience here. We got Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, the underworld. I don't even want to ask what that is. South Australia, Texas, Moscow, South Africa. It's, it takes a lot to build something that you and I have built. And I think what it says is that we keep coming back. And, that's that saying, if you've ever been if you've ever been an alcoholic or in AA, which I have, they say to keep coming back, which, there's these little like sayings that AA has that I always felt to be really powerful, sort of like keep showing up, keep being part of it, keep speaking your mind, keep moving forward, start to be, it's where I learned to actually love myself, was getting sober and Alcoholics Anonymous. And, those little sayings might sound cheesy, but we do keep coming back and we do keep having these conversations and we keep building a community, and more people from all over, not just the United States, but the world keeps showing up. And I really think I really consider this ours. What we're building here is a space where we can have these conversations that I say it every time. You can go back to every single one of these lives, and I say it every time, where we can have these conversations where most of us are pretty middle ground people. I really believe that. And we're willing to have these conversations. We might have different moral beliefs. We might have different political beliefs. We might have different ways of raising our families. We might have different ways of functioning in the world. But it doesn't mean that we can't care about each other. And it doesn't mean that we can't say, hey, my friend, if you want to do that in your house, in the privacy of your own house, you go right ahead. It's nobody's business. I really do believe that. I don't want to know what you do privately in your own home. I mean, obviously, if you're beating up your kids, that's not cool. But you know what I'm saying? However you want to live your life, whatever you want to do behind your closed doors, you should, as an adult, be able to do that. And people should not be judging other people for their fantasies or the way that they want to live their life sexually or all the things that they want to do. The problem for me is things have just gotten a little bit we have to push it in everybody's faces. And what I do in my time or in places that I hang out, it's not nobody else's business, and I don't need to have validation for it. But I think what happens is that we've pushed it into other people's spaces, the fetishists and the kinky people and the people who used to keep it to themselves and because I was part of that community, by the way. I was part of those communities where you went and I have explored so much, everyone. Don't forget how old I am. I'm 62. I've explored a lot in my life. And one of the things I have explored is my sexuality and the things that turn me on and what I like to do. But it doesn't mean I have to throw it here in your face and say, I like X, Y, and Z, because you don't need to know that. You might not like it. It might and it's just going to actually turn you off on some level. So I think in my growth as a human, really what I've learned is there's some things you tell people and there's just some things you don't. And so I see there's so much of that happening in this transgender space. They are pushing their own, and I do believe it's an agenda on some level. They're pushing their own belief system on you. And if you don't accept it, you are a bad person. Well, what about me? As a trans person, I don't accept that you throw that in people's faces, and I don't like it, and I don't agree with it. So what about me as somebody who's been in this trans space for a long time? What about the people and I'm not the only one. I think you all know that. I'm literally not the only one. There's a lot of trans people who feel this way, but they're too scared to speak up. So I need to speak up for the people who are too scared to speak up, because there's a lot of us who are starting to realize we have to separate what a transgender person is and what a transsexual person is. And so with that, I think I would like to explain this to you all and to the people who are new here. It is so important that you're here. So thank you. Might be the first time and the last time you ever come to this space, but you're welcome to come back whenever you want. But I really appreciate that you come here to sort of hear a different side of this trans narrative, because it's gotten so insane that even I don't want to be a part of it, which is, a very sad thing, because I think I talked to all of you about how much community has meant to me in my life. And I think I said it on the last live where I said, I've lost communities through my growth as a human. And, at one time I was part of the lesbian community. And I lost the lesbian community when I transitioned to live my life as a man, and 30 years ago. They didn't like it. They hated it. They called me all kinds of names. Basically, exactly what you see today was exactly what happened 30 years ago when I decided I was no longer a lesbian and I wanted to live my life as a man. Oh, they got so mad at me. Oh, blah, you're such a bad person. You are going to the traitor. You are patriarchy. I'm like, what? Don't you want me to be happy? You think people would be like, yeah, right on, Buck, go on, do it if that's going to make you happy. But no, like the fangs came out. The fangs came out and the claws came out, and I got ripped apart from the lesbian community, and I lost that community. Nobody would talk to me. I lost all my friends. So on some level, I had experience in it already. So when the transgender community came after me, I already had experience in losing a community, and I already had experience in getting my balls kicked in, and I already, my balls, you all know what I mean, but you know what I'm saying? Like I already had experience of losing what I thought was a community. So I started to question, what is community? What does it actually mean? To me, this is a community. And probably a lot of us here aren't LGBTQIA poo poo. We're come from all different walks of life. I just know it. I know it because I can tell by the conversation. I can tell by how you guys say things to me. I can tell by you write me things. I just know we've created what to me is a community. And a community is people of like-mindedness, but who are willing to have different opinions, right? So I'm willing to have a different opinion than you, as you are willing to have a different opinion than me. But why do we have to hate on each other because of that? I always found that to be quite, I never agreed with the lesbians. I never agreed with the LGBT community. I always had different opinions. I think I told you when we were fighting for gay marriage, I fought for civil union. I said, but why do we have to have, why does it have to say marriage? Why, because the Christians were not cool with it, which, no, that's their place. It's all good. But it's just a word. It's just actually a word. So why are you making such a big deal about it, right? Then I started to realize, because it means something to those people. It actually means something. It actually really is part of who the fabric of who they are. So I said, oh, right, why don't we call it, well, I think everybody else, we can call it civil marriage. That was handed to us. Why don't you just call it civil union? I think it was civil union, right? And then you guys can call it marriage, but it's literally it plugs in. It's exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. But no, we had to have those people in the gay community just adamant to call it marriage, which that's why it took so long to get passed. And instead of understanding our differences and understanding that, marriage was meant to be this certain thing for these people, and marriage between us is of the same sex, and marriage between them is from opposite sex. And it just shouldn't matter if we get the same rights. We can call it pee-pee poo-poo as far as I'm concerned. I don't really care. But do I get the same rights as you? That's really the crux of a lot of what's happening today, is that people in a community called transgender want you to validate them and want you to lose your rights so that their rights can go on top of it. I'm not cool with that. Just like I said to you right now, I wasn't cool with the marriage thing. I was cool with civil union. And that's just me. Anybody in here who disagrees, right on, friend. You have that different opinion. I'm totally open to that. And I think it's great that you have a different opinion than me. But I'm always looking for solutions. And I always feel like this newer kind of space doesn't want solutions. They want dominance. There's a difference between walking into a space that I'm possibly new to and not necessarily welcome to. And believe me, people, I've been to many of those spaces in my 62 years and my 30 plus years of transition. I've walked into many places I was not welcome. Okay. But I had to navigate that space. I did not walk in that space with my fist like this, punching you in the face. Punch. You better let me in here. I have every right to be in here. You're a transphobe if you don't let me in here. That never used to happen. We never did that as trans people, ever. We found a way to walk into the room so that you could see us as somebody who was not a threat to you. Today, I feel like there's this idea that when you're trans, it's threatening. Now, so many people feel threatened by trans people, including me, because they're coming to it without, I think the word I'm looking for maybe is gratitude, or with maybe an opportunity to educate. You can't educate by shoving something down somebody's throat. They're going to choke and gag and not like it. And when you force somebody, unless it's consensual, that's a whole other story. But if you choke and gag somebody on something they're not necessarily familiar with, you are going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. And they are not going to come back for more. They're literally not going to come back for more. They're going to go, my experience with that was horrifying. I'm never going back to the yeah, right. People will tune out. People will leave it. I see it every day on the internet. I get blamed for a lot of things by people who are not willing to find middle ground, right? Like I think you guys call them gender criticals. The gender criticals just hate me, mostly gender critical women. They think it's my fault that kids are transitioning. They think it's my fault that people, but I'm in that space because I'm an elder and I did this such a long time ago. And I really did a lot of things that I put into the world that hadn't been done before. And so because of that, I'm just going to have to take the brunt of it. But I think one of the things I want to encourage everybody here, if you are getting older, whatever that means to you, embrace it, because I'm telling you, life gets better. Life gets amazing the older you become. It is a blessing to grow old. It is such a I wouldn't want to be any other age right now. I feel like the reason I can really keep my feet planted on the well, thank you, gender critical person. I guess I shouldn't say all. Of course not. All is too black and white. I don't believe in black and white, but the majority have a problem with me. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's just age has taught me so much. The mistakes I've made, the things I've done that I'm like cringy when I think, oh my God, I actually did that. I actually did that. But what did I do is I learned from it. And so the thing that's funny to me sometimes is people will go and dig up old stuff of mine and say, well, Buck, you did, but I don't believe that anymore. I changed my mind. I probably said I used to be, I'm sure I said I'm a man many, many, many times. I'm sure I said it. There's no doubt about it. 100% I said it. But as my growth through all of this insanity, I realized I'm not a man. And that has empowered me. Oh, I feel emotional. It makes me feel emotional because it's like a next level of awareness as a transsexual person that you really don't think you're going to get. And when you get to that next level of saying to yourself, you know what? It's okay that I'm a female. It's totally okay. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't make me a bad person. It doesn't make me any less of a human being. I'm crying because I just have had such an awakening in the last 5 years around my own self, around what it means to be a transsexual, around becoming honest with myself and realizing my biology does matter in this whole conversation. And to sit in front of all of you people who watch this and just be able to say those things, I don't even know if you can feel the empowerment that it gives. It gives a huge amount of empowerment, not only to me, but to you, because now you and I can connect on a real, honest to goodness, reality based conversation. I'm not trying to trick you. I'm not trying to dupe you. I'm not trying to make you believe this. I'm trying to. Am I even trying? Well, I want you to see the empowerment that this transition gave me, but the amount of time it took me to grow into what it actually meant to transition. It is a huge amount of time and energy, and the willingness to look at what it means to transition. And so when there are a lot of people in a newer community of trans and also older people who start to say things that go against everything that I know, that I actually know, that it's reality based, that's truth, not my truth, but the truth. Remember that these words actually matter. It's not my truth, it's the truth. When these new transgender people start to say things that go against the truth of what it actually means to transition, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for me. It makes me angry. It makes me feel disconnected. It makes me feel panicked. It makes me feel panicked. It makes me feel that, how are we going to move forward when you lie? How? How are you ever going to move forward when you lie? Because I know that I've lied, I've stolen shit, I've cheated people out of stuff, I've been abusive to people, I've done drinking, drugs, prostitution. I mean, I could you'll see in my book, but I've done all. Thank you, Rachel, for becoming a member. I do appreciate that, you guys. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. It's true acceptance, Garden Lady. It's true acceptance. And that's okay. So the topic today, I wanted to make this because many people ask me this. They say, Buck, what is the difference between a transsexual and a transgender? And, at one point, transsexuals and transgender, it sort of became one thing. And we started just calling the whole thing transgender because it became more about your gender than your sex, which I think was the biggest mistake we ever made. Because I also believe the biggest mistake we ever made was to separate gender and sex. I really do. Because at one time it was the same thing. Gender, if you look at your passport, it used to say gender on it, right? Okay. And then there's this idea that gender and sex are these two different things. I think it really became a problem. And so that people could now use this in the trans community. Gender is social construct and what you feel and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh, here we go. This is like literally dangerous. So now we have people using gender as a weapon. Okay. And that you can change your gender because it's a social construct. And then biology is a social construct. And then they just started. If you know anything about cults, do you know anything about cults? Do you know what cults do? They repeat over and over and over again. So, for example, trans women are women. That became the biggest mantra of 2023, 2024. Trans women are women. Trans women are women. Trans women are women. There you go. What happens is everybody, oh, hey, Karina, thank you. I'll get the super chats in a minute. So you understand what I'm saying? It literally becomes a thing. Trans women are women. Biology isn't real. It's a social construct. Anyone can be trans. You know that you're trans. 4-year-olds know they're trans, right? That's sort of what it is. That's what so a part of a cult is a brainwashing thing. They get you shoved in. Look at Scientology. If you know anything, for me to give an example, Scientology to me that's a cult. And I apologize to anybody here who is a Scientologist, but I do believe that's a cult. And I know people who've tried to get out of it and forget it. You can't get out of it. That's a cult. If you want to leave something and you can't get out of it, that's a cult. They don't want you to leave because they don't want you to tell the secrets. So on some level, I'm going to say something very controversial right now. I think the transgender agenda and community has become very cult-like. I'm not saying it's a cult. I'm saying it's become very, I was raised in a cult. Wow, Ronnie. I know I had an ex-girlfriend who was raised in a cult. It's actually so insane. I have firsthand experience with her and listening and just the mind-blowing shit that goes on. But you understand what I'm saying? So it's this thing that happened in the transgender community where I felt like they started to push this agenda on people who are very vulnerable. Children, people with possibly autism or learning disability or whatever you call it, whatever the PC term for it is. Right? So people who are easily swayed, feeling uncomfortable, don't have a community, they were literally seeking these certain kinds of people out. And then that's how they built it, is they just kept a transsexual never, ever wants to indoctrinate anybody into this. Neurodivergent, thank you. Ever. The last thing we want you to do is this, okay? The last thing we want you to do is to take this on. It should be the last resort. So the transgender community made it the first. They don't even go through therapy. They don't even give you time to think about it. They're just like, oh, you dress like a boy, you must be trans man. Oh, you dress like a girl, you must be a where did gay go? Where did the gay community go? So now they're on some level being very homophobic, and they're just pinpointing. That is one of the differences right there of what a transgender situation is. It's an identity. These people all, and I'm going to show you right now, they all identify as trans. That's an identity choice. You identify as gay. It's your sexuality, but a lot of people identify with being gay. They did create that part of their sexuality. Trans is a mental disorder. Why are you identifying with a mental disorder? I don't identify as trans. This is why I really hope that you're getting what I'm saying right now. I do not identify as trans. I identify as a man. I am not a man, though I want to be a man. I changed my appearance to look like a man. I'm sure every single one of you seeing me walk down the street would never think of anything other than that's a dude. That is the ultimate goal of a transsexual person. It's a disorder it's a sexual disorder in our brain that makes us feel or want or desire to have the look. It's called gender, or I call it sexual sex dysphoria. We want our sex to look male or female, not non-binary, not whatever Z's, M's, or Z's, that's all over. That's transgender. Remember that. That's transgender. Transsexual people live in a binary, medicalized space where they want you to see us as male or female. Nothing more, nothing less. Some people end up passing. Some people, it takes more of a longer time. Some people never pass, which is heartbreaking because it's not an easy space to get to. You have to work very hard to get to this space, and you have to be willing to give things up. You have to be willing to give things up. This is one of the things that they're not telling these young people. They're just saying your whole life will be better and everything will be fine once you start taking hormones and then everything. That's just not true. I just showed you earlier how I've grown and grown and grown, even 30 years. In the last 5 years, I've really grown a lot in understanding what this all really means. How can you tell a 10-year-old that? No 10-year-old knows that. Now, 10-year-olds might have the disorder of gender dysphoria. They might have that. There's no doubt. But the last resort, okay, after therapy, mental health care, letting them live this way, there's so many things to do before you hit the irreversible stage. It's not happening anymore. It's not happening. They are pushing people into becoming transgender. They are not helping people to understand what it means to live in this space and the things that you will be getting and the things that will be taken away. You do not get everything you want as a transsexual. I've lost things. I've lost the ability to have a child. Not that I ever wanted to have a child, but what if when I transitioned, I was 30 years old, okay? Not super old, but what if after 5 years of hormones, and I never really wanted to have a child, this is hypothetical, but what if at 35, I was like going, oh man, you know what? I really want to have my own baby. I really want to do that. And then I couldn't because the hormones destroyed my reproductive system. Whose fault is that? Is it my fault? Is it the fault of the medical world? Is it the fault of the community? It's a really great question. And for me, It's the fault of the system, because the system is not telling people all the pros and cons. They're only telling you the pros. They're not telling you the cons. It is why a 10-year-old cannot, a 15-year-old cannot, I don't even think an 18-year-old cannot consent to what I did. Lifelong commitment. You will lose things. You will gain things, but you must live in a reality-based space. They are not telling these people that. It is so shocking to me that we have let this happen. So the difference between a transgender is now that has become an identity choice. Anyone can be transgender. You don't need mental health care to transition. Anyone can take hormones. You don't have to ask a doctor for. You can consent as a 16-year-old. It is horrifying. Why I won't belong to that. I refuse to belong to that. Nobody should be put in that space. So we have what I like to call, well, I think you guys all call them too, trenders, or people who have kind of lumped themselves into the trans space because it's hot. It's the hot new identity. It's the cool thing to be. It's the I'm a victim. It's the you're part of the minority group. You have, victim points. You can cry all kinds of things when you are a trans person. You can call people transphobic. You can say shit to people that you wouldn't be able to say if you weren't trans. So it's a group of people now who are utilizing an actual disorder in order to gain momentum in the world. I also believe there are bad players in this who are people who are disingenuous in coming into this to lure children. I 100% believe that. I 100% believe that. You don't have to believe it, but I do believe it. I believe there are very bad players in this who have come to lure. Is that the word I'm looking for? Or yeah, it's cult-like. It 100% is. There's very, very, very much similarities. So I have a couple. Let's see, about 6 or. Do you guys all know who that JVN person is? I think. Let me grab some coffee here. Oh, I wanted to show you these awesome cups I forgot I had. Look at these beautiful cups. Can you see? Let me go a little closer. Look at this. I got these cups in one of my trips to, I think it was, God, I always forget where I go. So I've been to so many places. I think it was Sweden. I was in Sweden and I was in the airport and I saw these beautifully, they're hand painted coffee cups from this tattoo shop. And I had to get them. And I remember they're in my cupboard. I have all these cool things. And then I just pulled them out because they're really thick and awesome. And they're just, they're hand painted. Aren't they awesome? I wanted to share that with you. So I have these, you all know who JVN is. So JVN is this trans, non-binary dude who was literally a gay man. Okay, you can go and do research. He was a gay man. And he was a very feminine gay man, and he creates hair products, and he became very famous for being on Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. Okay. And then all of a sudden he's trans. Just out of nowhere, he's trans. So I'm going to show you the difference. Today, we are here in class. Okay. We're in class today with Professor Buck. So sit down. I would be that professor. I would actually be a cool professor. So, thanks for subscribing. That means a lot. Thanks, friend. So listen. Okay, so I just want you to see this. So he's always on everything. This dude is on everything. It's so annoying because how come this guy gets a voice? This guy, the other couple of people I'm going to show you, they're the only voices that get to say anything in regards to the trans community. I want to see if you all notice this. Do you ever notice me being on any of these shows? The View, MSNBC, CNN. Do you ever see them wanting New York Times? Do you ever see them saying, hey, wait, we need to have an other side of the story? Do any of you ever see that? You know, I am somebody out there with a voice. Okay. I am an elder of this community, and I'm not just hiding under a rock. Those people know who I am. There is no doubt they know who Blair and I are, but neither of us get to have any chance to have a sort of a rebuttal or a debate with these people who say these things. And I really want you all today to notice that. You're only ever getting one side of the story when it comes to the transgender community. Wah! That's all you ever get. Wah! We're under attack. Wah! Trump is ruining everything. Wah! Trump is a fascist and a Nazi and wah! We don't have anything. How about you have a conversation with me, CNN? Okay. How about you have a conversation with me, MSNBC? How about you have a conversation with me, New York Times? Seriously, I'm not kidding. Like, I just find it to be really pathetic when your journalism is so one-sided. It's the same with The View. The View does the same thing. I hate The View. I don't watch The View. I find it so pukey. But I would go on it in 2 seconds. But they have people like Elliot Page or Chase Strangio, who are also part of that cult-like community. They spew lies. I would debate them. I'm telling you right here today, live. I would debate them in 2 seconds. If anyone can set that up, bring it on. I'll debate every single one of these trans activists. Every one. It's upsetting to me that I don't get to have Elliot Page is dead inside pretty much. I mean, I'm not laughing because it's really sad, actually. I feel sad for Elliot Page. I actually do. I think Elliot was duped into that. And you're going to see. You're going to see. I hope I'm not right, but you're going to see. So this guy right here, who I just despise, they give him so much airtime. It's unbelievable to me. Listen to what this guy is saying.
Message to the community who may feel afraid, who may feel like there's nobody who gets it anymore, and where do I go? What can you say to folks?
I have 2 messages, and I thought about this a lot. The first is to everybody in the United States, and you taught me this when I was 5 in 1992. If we want to be somebody, and if we want to go somewhere, we really need to wake up and pay attention. Okay, so I love you so much. And Sister Act is like, my reason for existence. And the season 3, if you need a cameo, I'm here. Okay.
It's coming up. But this guy calls himself trans. Okay. Go ahead. Call yourself transgender, non-binary. He's transgender, queer, non-binary. What are you? What are you? Are you non-binary, or are you queer, or are you transgender? You see what I'm saying? They have to have all of these labels because they don't know who they are. They have no idea who they are. So this dude, look at how he looks, and he calls himself transgender. So that's a transgender person. I, Blair, Marcus, many of us out there who actually look like men and women are transsexual. This is what I'm going to show you today. That is not a transsexual person. That is a transgender person who identifies as trans. And this is the person who speaks over somebody like me and Blair when we have nothing in common. We are not from the same community. We have different belief systems, yet they continually platform these people.
Now, for our community, I think what's so important, I thought about this last night. I was like, has anyone ever said we need to put the unity back in community? Yes. Because I think really on the left, it just with the LGBTQIA plus community, we need to stick together. And we have decades and decades of experience having done this, from post-World War II, the lavender scare, the AIDS crisis.
Decades and decades. This is the other part that really pisses me off. You don't know anything, buddy. You weren't around during the AIDS crisis. I was. Okay? So yeah, you might say all that, but you have no respect for the elders. And here's what I'm going to play one more, and I'm going to show you something right now.
Through the Domestic Marriage Act era, all the way to
He's
now, we've stuck together before.
Things.
We have to do it more than ever before now. We have to stick together.
No.
And that's not only our community, but that's intersectional solidarity.
Yes.
It has to be amongst every community.
Words.
And let
words.
Just got to be together. So that's the biggest thing that I can think of right now.
Yeah. They're just words. Just words. There's nothing. No, it's all words, you guys. All words. Oh, it's just so pathetic. They use the same words over and over, buzzwords, over and over and over again. I'm going to read something here, but let me do a couple of these super chats. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thanks for being members. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate you a lot. Dharma. My 5 months. You guys rule. Thank you. Helping build this channel is everything to me. Karina says, hope you're doing well. Don't worry. We all of decent look after each other. Why should some ruin it for everyone? Yeah, that's right. I agree. But at the same time, it's frustrating for me as an older elder in this community to watch that. Hey, Dharma, the demonetization of white people has contributed a lot of middle-class kids into identifying as TQI so they can be victims. That's right. It's social currency. That's a great way to put it. There you go. 100%, Dharma. 100%. That's what I was trying to say in my street lingo. Hey, Yumi. The trans community lost support because they made way more vinegar than honey. It went from asking for tolerance to demanding submission. And it's why I told you there's a difference between a transsexual and a transgender. I will never force you to accept me. Ever. It's why I don't care if you call me she. It doesn't really hurt me because I know who I am. And I know most people are doing it to just be mean. They're not doing it because for whatever. Or some people, they just feel like, I can't do it. It's my morals. Okay, whatever, friend. Just go for it. Whatever makes you happy. I'm good. I just want people to be happy. That's all. Hey, Lynn, thank you, Fran, for being here for 7 months. It's very sad how one-sided media. Yeah, I know. Well, it's not media. It's something else. It's literally something else. Can I read something to y'all? Thank you, Catherine. It means a lot to me. Thank you guys for supporting. You're awesome. I have so many great members. Listen, I really want to read this. It's kind of important. And it's from a gay man who is about my age, and he lived through the AIDS epidemic, and he lived through Stonewall, and he lived through gay marriage, and he lived through a lot of things. And I won't read the whole thing to you, but it was a post that he made that I felt very connected to. And he's, did I just lose it? And he's speaking to Jeffrey Marsh. And if you all know who Jeffrey Marsh is, he's another one of those fake ass trans people who's just a gay man and can't handle his gayness. So he became queer and trans. So he's another one who indoctrinates the children. So it says, the fact is that most gay people back in the 80s and 90s weren't beholden to a destructive ideology that taught young people to hate themselves, nor did we limpet ourselves onto other groups' struggle. You know what we did? We made our own spaces and fought our own battles. This is very, very profound what he's writing. You are doing the precise opposite. Hence the reason why so many normal gay people want zero to do with you. There's a big difference between being different and batshit crazy. This is so well written. Your fledgling ideological cult was not around then. So your comparison is an insult. Frankly, we were actually dealing with very real issues such as HIV, true marginalization, total social ostracization, no support from presidents, governments, no positive media coverage, no corporate sponsorship, advertising, etc., etc. Nothing. In 1990, you were only 13, talking to Jeffrey Marsh. Don't you dare speak for those who paved the way for the freedoms you currently take for granted by comparing your oppression as a they, them to ours. It is so beautifully written and so to the point that this needs to be posted everywhere. And the reason why he wrote this, and I'll go and see. I forgot his name, but he's an important person. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. But I just clipped it when I saw it, and they are trying to rewrite our history. They are saying that Black trans women, thank you, Kimberly. They are actually saying that Black trans. Oh my gosh, hold on here. They are saying that Black trans women were at the forefront of gay rights and Stonewall. What? These men here that write this kind of stuff, and my friend Fred Savage, he was also one of the people at the Stonewall. And what are they talking about? They're literally trying to rewrite our history. That's scary when they try to go and rewrite LGBT history. It is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my whole life. And disgusting. Sergeant, thank you, Sergeant, my old brain. Fred Sargent. I actually have an interview with Fred on this channel. If you go listen to it, he talks all about it. Fred Sargent, thank you. He actually goes and tells everything about Stonewall. There were no trans people there. There were no Black trans people there. Black trans people weren't even around. They were not part of the beginning of this history. What are you talking about? It's not racist to say that, okay? It is a factual situation. They're rewriting the history of gay women and calling them non-binary. It's actually a fact. They're actually doing that. They're literally saying like women who fought for the gay women who fought for rights, they must have been non-binary because they were masculine. No, they were just butch leses or masculine women. They weren't it's so, anyway, is that fascist or communist or Marxist? Is it Marxist when they start to rewrite the history of factual situations? Is that Marxist? Does anybody know? It is so disgusting that they would ever. Yeah, Marsha P. Johnson was a gay dude. He even says it. There's video of him saying it. It's so mind-blowing, you guys. My God. Let me grab a couple more of these. Ronnie says, Buck, please add the feature to the channel that I can gift memberships to others. Okay, yeah, I will do that. Thanks, Ronnie. I appreciate that. I'll check into that today, most definitely, 100%. Buck, I've been wanting to challenge you on trans in the military. T women have to dilate and can get medical exemption to avoid. Okay, no, I think I told you that I'm not really into any person who hasn't been fully medicalized. So you can challenge me, but I don't know. It sounds to me like we're pretty much on the same channel, MT. I don't think trans people, unless they're fully medically transitioned and they're not going to be a problem and they can be deployed. So if you're going to need to be dilating, you can't do that. Am I actually saying that? You can't do that out in the field. No, so I'm in agreement with you. Also, you guys, come on. Can we just stop with trans in the military? I have to keep saying it. I feel like I have to keep saying it over and over again. When you transition, thank you, Kimberly. When you transition, you don't get everything you want, people. Stop it. You stop being so weird about it. Hey, Ashley, thank you, friend. Echo, hi, friend. Echo says, transsexual women here. Thank you. I just got permanently banned from making comments on YouTube for hate speech because I was speaking out against. I'm sorry, friend. Send me a message in my email and I'll get you on the channel here and we'll have a conversation. So I apologize for that. Well, I don't. It's happening here. I'm getting totally censored as we speak. Trust me. Senpai, I'm nearly in tears. You're so right. I tell parents of trans tomboys of changes they'll get from T and to watch you. They are so thankful. Excellent. Thank you, friend. Thank you. Thanks, you guys. So rewrite history, dictator stuff, right? No, it's actually scary. Scary. Let me show you something here. Hold on one second. I want to show you this. It's just so. So Watch. I see you all. Your comments are great. That is a transvestite. Nothing wrong with being a transvestite. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Zero. But now they shamed transvestites, and now they make transvestites call themselves transgender. So again, I'm going to show you the difference between a transsexual, think me, think Blair, think Marcus, think just people who pass as men and women and make a huge effort to do so, and these people. Crossdresser. Look at the beard. Do you see the beard on the face? Look, do you see this beard? There's a beard. There's a beard right here. Okay. No trans woman in their right mind would look like that. They would do electrolysis. They would shave the beard. Okay. And also, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Why are you doing that? That's a fetish. That is a fetish. That is a transvestite crossdresser fetish. Far out, friend. Far out. Do your thing. Okay. But don't say you're something you're not. Remember when that white lady, what was her name, who said she was a black lady? Do you guys all remember her name? What was her name? Come on, I can't think of it right now. The white lady who literally said she was a black woman. And then the whole black community was like, what? No, you're not. You're Rachel Dolezal. Thank you. She literally said she was black. And everyone in the black community was like, you better step aside, lady. It was so good. And she kept just hanging on to that. I'm black. She even made her hair like in certain kind of braids, right? Yeah, she was the leader of the NAACP. I mean, you can't get any you can't get any more grifty than that, except that. Except that, and hold on, this. That is a crossdresser. Who does that? I don't know any ladies. I don't know any ladies that do that. Hey, ladies, do you do this? Hey, ladies in the chat, do you actually get dressed up and do this? I know I'm being really bad right now. I'm having a laugh at their expense. But hey, when you put like this stuff on the internet, you better be a linebacker. You better be prepared. You can't just do this and call yourself. This one calls themselves trans too. No lady in this room. I really, unless you're an actual fashion model, identify as pro. The Pete. Oh my God, you guys, I love you. The comments are so good. Maybe a 5-year-old. Oh God. But you see, you've got to walk away today with seeing the difference. I'm tired of it. I am not these people. Okay. So hold on here. I'm going to bring this one up because I think you're going to. Okay. I got to take a breath. The next one that I'm bringing up is going to make you mad. So be ready for this one because I cannot. I hate this one. Okay, hold on. Just mumbo jumbo.
Is not a destination, it's an orientation. And it's possible to live many lives in this one. Each one as true as the last.
Wait, I got to bring it over again.
Authenticity is.
Listen, did you even understand what he was saying? Word salad. He said nothing. This person also identifies as transgender. Okay, look at that. Look at that. That's a crossdresser. That is a fetishist. That is somebody, a drag queen. That is not trans. That is a non-binary, cross-dressing, trans fetish, transvestite fetishist. Listen, I know, and also he likes little ones. So hold on. He's the one that said little ones are kinky. Creep. Okay, so listen, you got to listen to, if anyone can translate for me, I would love you. Listen.
Authenticity is not a destination, it's an orientation. And it's possible to live many lives in this one, each one as true as the last.
I mean, you know what he does? He does that all the time. What these people do who are supposedly academics, you know what they do? They actually mumbo jumbo words together, right? I'm going to take a screenshot of all these comments. They're excellent. Genius. So bring back comedy. So listen, he does that on purpose. He actually tries to say all of these really big words and mix them together so you feel stupid. So you feel like, is he saying something that I should know? Or is he saying something that maybe I should really be aspiring to? Remember my old ass, been around for a long time. One of the things I actually learned in my age is that just because you can say bigger words than me does not make you smarter than me. Okay? That's a fact. I didn't graduate high school, had to go to summer school. Okay, I'm not an academic, couldn't handle it, fucking hated academia. Like, nope. So, nope, you're not the smartest one around because you can speak in bigger words and you get to sit up there in your high chair with your bib on, spewing all kinds of nonsense to the world. And everyone thinks that you're so brilliant. You're not brilliant. You're not brilliant at all. You're the one who's luring children into this space, buddy. So again, not transsexual, transgender, identity, non-binary, narcissist. Okay. It makes no sense. Okay, let me bring up this one because this one is so great, you guys. You're gonna love this one.
I don't know if I'm trans or if I'm doing it for attention. Oh, okay.
Oh my God. Should I play that one again? Because at first I was like, huh? I'm all, huh? But then I said to myself, in the beginning, when this person goes,
how do I know if I'm trans or if I'm doing it for attention?
You're doing it for attention, sweetie, because if you knew you were trans, you wouldn't have to ask the internet. You wouldn't have to ask TikTok if you're trans. So guess what? You're not trans. How about that? Or are you asking the ocean, the magical ocean? It's so dumb, you guys. These people are narcissists. I never went on the internet and asked if I'm trans. If you have to ask the internet if you're trans, you're not trans. It's so crazy, you guys. Okay, can you imagine how frustrated I am by this? Okay, I have two more for you. And thanks for sticking it out with me today. I love you guys so much. Thanks for having fun with me. Thanks for just laughing at all the insanity because, you know, I feel myself sometimes just getting so mad about it. And then I'm like, why am I getting so mad? Why don't I just laugh at these people? Because I think I know why. I know why I get mad. I'll tell you why I get mad. I get mad because I fear for young people, not adults. I don't give a shit. If you get yourself sucked into this, that's your own fault. You better figure it out. But I fear for the young people who are getting sucked into this and the anger that's coming from them. And, you know, when you start talking to somebody like me and you just started hormones and you're calling me transphobic and internalized transphobia, and I don't know, there's something wrong. There's a disconnect there. Because why would you ever call somebody like me all of those names if you are trying to aspire to what I that I aspired to on some level? Wouldn't you look at me? You might not agree with me politically and all that, but wouldn't you see me as somebody who you could sort of say, that's the goal I want to reach? I didn't have any of that when I was growing up and as a transsexual person. So it says to me something is a disconnect there. You know, you don't have to like me, but you have to see me in a way that says it can be done. And it can be done in a positive way. And so it really concerns me when young people are being grouped to come at me with hate because they're being told to hate me. So I have a fear for these kids. I have a fear. It's why I get angry, not because these stupid people, but because of the bigger picture, if that makes sense, right? The bigger picture says to me, we are in for a very bad situation if we don't start to do these speaking up, right? So yeah, you're right. I got to turn my sort of anger, right? Yeah, you're right, Karina. If I don't laugh, I'm gonna cry. I cry all the time, as you know. I'm a big crybaby. Okay, so listen to this. This is quite fascinating. It's a little low. I tried to make the audio higher, but listen, maybe turn up your audio a little bit if you can.
Some trans people on this app to let me know how they got their hormones to work so well for them, because I've been on testosterone for like 5 years now, and I still look like a Precious Moments figurine.
Okay, so this person is like me. They're a female who wants to become a man. What? I even in the very beginning of my testosterone, and then they're asking for advice from other people on how to take the hormones. Do you understand how insane that is? And also, yeah, you look like a lady after 5 years of testosterone. Something isn't right. Something isn't right. What are you doing? How much are you taking? What are you going to the doctor? Maybe if you start wearing more male clothes, maybe if this is a transgender person. This is not a trans. Yeah, you're right. That's a great point, Catherine. Catherine says, I don't believe her. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think a lot of people are grifting this and pretending like they're on hormones. Because how do we know that they're on hormones? We don't know that, right? We don't know that. A lot of us have risked our situation to be on these. Okay, so here's the last one I have for you. This one just is so horrifying. Okay, are you prepared?
So they erased every mention of transgender health from the CDC website, meaning research, resources, anything that mentions transgender studies is gone. And they're saying that it's to comply with President Order's executive order on gender, in which he said that there's only male and female genders, and any other mention of gender ideology needs to be removed from federally funded websites. And they're taking it off. They want to erase us. No, it's further than that. They want to eradicate us. And I know people are probably scared of that and saying, what do we do to fight back? What do we do?
There's that word. There's the words again. They want to eradicate. If they wanted to eradicate us, I wouldn't be here 30 years. This is how I poke a hole in all of their ideology. I've been here for 30 years, people. They don't want to get rid of us. They don't want idiots like you. Okay, who said the werewolf? Somebody called him the werewolf. Excellent. Look at the nails. Okay, the beard. He calls himself transgender. That's the difference. That is not a transsexual. That's a transgender identified werewolf. Big difference. The teen wolf. Harry Raptor. Oh my God, you guys. We need to have a comedy show. Edward Scissorhands. But listen, I don't know if you can see. He's foaming at the mouth.
Do to go against this genocide? And the one answer I have for you is to experience joy. I know it sounds so simple, but trans joy is something that they cannot take away.
There you go. Trans joy. Something they cannot take away from you. What's trans joy? I'd sure like to fucking know what trans joy is, because this old tranny never had trans joy. So again, transgender, transsexual.
From you. When you express your gender identity as you see fit, they cannot take that away.
Express your gender identity. Okay? Again, okay? How you see fit. That's transgender. That's not transsexual. Transsexual is full-on mental disorder. You must live in a male and binary space. You just want to be in the world. You don't want to mess with people. You can totally dress how you please. Like, you guys.
Away from you. They may be able to push it down and to stifle it, but your sense of joy and freedom is something they can never take away. And that is what they're most afraid of. They hate seeing trans people succeed.
No, they don't, buddy. I'm a big ass success, just so you know. And everyone in this country has been rooting for me, except trans people. I am a success. I've built 3 businesses. I own my own home. I have a family. I have a car. I have a bank account. I have a savings account. I have a kid. Should I go on and on and on? What are you talking about? 100% they want me to be a success. What they don't want is for you to take and take and take and lie and steal and cheat. They want you to get a job, participate in giving back to this community, which is called the United States of America. Stop pushing your agenda onto little children, okay? I told you if you left the kids alone, Mr. Werewolf, we would have none of this problem. So again, they are literally gaslighting. That's all a bunch of crap.
They hate seeing trans people happy.
That's, do you know how much that frustrates the shit out of me?
So when you go out there, be the most successful version and the happiest version of yourself that you're able to be under the current law.
Okay, would you take this person seriously? If you were actually looking to like really become something and really get yourself situated and really be a success in the world, are you going to listen? Wait, are you going to listen to that trans person? Are you going to listen to the old transsexual who actually has a bank account and does pay my taxes and does actually have the American flag everywhere around my office? I mean, come on, man.
In which you live, still be joyful. They cannot take that away. And as soon as more people come on to see...
Dude, you're literally taking my joy away. Just so you know, you are taking my joy away. Not the government, not the people, not anything, but you and your foaming mouth and your fingernails and your desire to create a divide in what is actually happening. Oh, my God.
That trans people aren't the problem. They will turn that fight against the government. And it will continue to...
See, he's anti-government. He's anti-government. That right there. They're getting these young people to hate America. They are getting these young people to think the government is against them. They're getting these people to think that America is a bad place. Really? Bitches, go live somewhere else. I dare you. I effing dare any of you as trans people and non-binary X's and Z's and Zers. Okay, the only place you can live is in the Western world like that. Okay, and United States, Canada, maybe Australia. But you know what? No, the government doesn't hate you. You hate yourself. You actually hate yourself. Why do I know you hate yourself? Because you just keep projecting your own insecurities on everyone else. This country is great. How fucking dare you? You get hormones, you get surgery, you get to tell people your pronouns, you get to walk around in your diapers, you get to flash your fetish nonsense to everybody in the world. How dare you say that?
To happen. It's happened over the past century. We are already so much further than we were a century ago.
Do you realize the frustration? Can you hear my frustration? I'm frustrated. I love this country. There are things I disagree with, of course. There's no way you all agree with everything that's going on. It's just not possible. But that being said, I have the opportunity to disagree here. Okay? It doesn't mean that. It just means that's part of any kind of situation where there are different parties and you're willing to have different factions of things. That's just the way it works. Instead of saying such a blanket statement that this government hates you, I can't stand it. It's not true. To the young people who are listening to me, listen to me. As an old school tranny who's lived and transitioned in the United States of America and had every opportunity to do this that I would never have had in other spaces, you must understand the opportunities you have and why Trump has now taken situations in hand, because these people right there abused a system that us transsexuals built in order for transsexuals to move forward in the world and be part of America. We want to be part of America. We don't want to these people don't want to be part of America. That's what you've got to see. That's why I'm showing you the difference between these people and me. If you want to be 20 and go against things and campaign for things and be an activist, you do that. That's your right in this country. Did you know that? But you can't go somewhere else and do that. So respect your right to do the things that you need to do here in order to get maybe your message across. But don't listen to wingnuts like this, because wingnuts like this are the reason why Trump had to sign executive orders stopping all medical transitions for children, which is 100% should have been done. All passports, all IDs, everything being ripped out of the situation, which he needed to because of people like this and Dylan Mulvaney and that other wingnut going and totally getting a passport and like, I duped the system. He literally said, James said, I duped the system. I got my passport changed. That's what you have to see. I have my I brought all my paperwork because I'm writing my book and I have so many amazing papers from my early transition. I saved, I don't know what made me save it, but I have my doctors, I have my therapist notes, I have my surgery on film. I have everything, you guys. Okay. I had to go through a system that we built in order for this shit not to happen. So of course it's getting ripped out because these idiots right here, the werewolf tranny, decided that they could just dupe the system and anyone could be trans and let's start injecting little children with hormones and rip their boobs off and like, woo, we're trans now. Please leave here today knowing that I just am livid. I'm livid around all this shit. It is not okay. It is not okay for you. It is not okay for me. And these people need to be taken out of the equation. And when you and I understand that I am not part of this and that transsexual people want to be in this country and be part of it and pay our taxes and have our families and have everything that you want, we want. We just can't live in our biological space. We just need to look in a different way. I mean, I just know that I know that you see it. I know that I can help you to move through and understand the difference. And that's why this means so much to me and why I get so passionate about this and why I get so mad about it, because this has changed my life. And I do not take it for granted. And these people are ruining it. Not for me. I'm done. I'm going to move forward. Nothing of mine's going to change. But there are people like me who will suffer because idiots like this think they can just come in and pretend that there's something or not. And in 5 effing years, they're going to go back to living as a dude. Okay. And he's going to be living somewhere like, I don't fucking know. I'm not even going to say what I really want to say, but you understand what I'm saying? These people aren't real and they're taking away from what is real. And it scares me. And it makes me mad. And I won't shut up. I won't shut up. I will never shut up. You can demonetize me. You can try to take my channels away. You can try to take me off every social media. I will find a way. I didn't get here by being a little brat and being a little pussy. I'm not scared. I am literally not scared. Go ahead and try it. I'll find another space to speak out. And another space and another space. That transgender community continues to try to silence me because they know what I'm saying is true and real and factual. They're hiding something from you. I refuse to hide what is the truth. And the truth of the matter is this is a disorder that hurts. It doesn't feel good. It makes you a really disconnected human being. It makes you not participate in the world. But when you get your medicine and you get your surgery and you get to be grateful for what you get, this is what you get. And that's what I want you to leave with today. Please, just leave with it. Sit with it. Understand how passionate I am about saving not only the children, but a space that saved me. It saved me from hating myself. It saved me from being disconnected to the world. It saved me from just not liking myself. And I actually like myself. And that should mean something. And I cry because I'm not scared to cry. And it doesn't make me weak, and it doesn't make me lesser than. And I think you all know that. It just makes me very passionate. And it makes me really connected to you, because you all make me feel very comfortable to do these things. And if I didn't feel comfortable in front of you, I wouldn't do this. But the community that you and I have built means everything to me. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for taking it to the world. Thank you for helping us to get back to some sanity in this country. And know that things sometimes need to be taken apart in order to be built back stronger. Sometimes you got to take the whole house down. It's not salvageable. Sometimes you got to rebuild the house. And now we're going to rebuild the house together. And your compassion means everything. And I know that you all are not anti. You're very pro, but you're pro reality. So thank you, everybody. God bless you as well. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Have a great Valentine's. I'm thinking to maybe do something on Valentine's Day. I'll see. I'm going to either make a video or do a little live just to wish you guys all a great Valentine's Day. Be with your loved ones. And I'll see you guys all on the next one. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And I'll see you guys all later.